As a disclaimer, some of our episodes discuss topics that may not be fit for a younger audience. Some episodes also contain some swearing. This show was produced by the Geek Happy Network, creators of the very best in audible Oracle entertainment. If you enjoy listening to Represented, remember to subscribe and leave us a review on your favorite podcast app. We'd love to hear your thoughts.
Geek Happy Network.
Make this home because it did feel like home when I was back in the Philippines. I felt like Canada is my home, and for that to happen, I needed to let go of the life that I'm not gonna have anymore because I'm not there. And when I made that conscious decision to live here, that's when all of a sudden the music came out. It was beautiful, actually. Yeah, like my brother and I, we started talking to Timmy, our cousin. Well, he goes by John. If people are confused, Chelsea Still is John, Robby, Ricky. John, if you're listening, I love you. But
Welcome to the Represented podcast. I'm your host, Nix. On this episode, we have Rob. Rob is a rock musician, lead singer of the band Chelsea's Tale, and I happen to have met Rob a few months ago during Mick's birthday party. Mick is one of the people that is helping me through the Geek Happy Network to put out this podcast. Also happens to be on one of our earlier episodes. So I met him through Mick, and I thought it would be interesting to sit down with Rob and get some insight into a world that I'm not necessarily in terms of just my taste of music and just knowledge. But I think overall it was a very insightful conversation. This podcast is about exploring everyone's journey in the context that they provide. So shout out to Rob again for making the time for us to have this conversation. I hope you enjoy it. Remember to hit us up at Represented Podcast on Instagram. With that being said, here's my conversation with Rob.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, like I said, I met you through Mick. And what's your relationship with Mick again?
So we're close family friends.
Okay.
Like we pretty much, when my family immigrated here to Canada, like he and his family have been like one of the first few families that we met, and we've been pretty much hanging out here and there ever since.
Nice.
Yeah.
Where did you? So you immigrated from the Philippines?
From the Philippines, yeah. From
Cool.
from Manila. So we're city boys, you know.
Nice.
That's
Okay. What year was this when you?
Back in 2007. So we were just hitting our 11th year.
Oh wow.
This November.
Yeah.
So it's pretty.
Do you remember like those first few days of moving to Canada?
Yeah. Like it was amazing because it's great. We're my family and I, we were all fortunate enough to have moved here together. A lot of my friends, or the friends that I grew up with in the Philippines who I found here, they moved here for school. So they were just here. They landed and they were here as students, and then they became citizens and whatnot that way. But for us, it was a whole like uprooting of the family, and that was it was huge. But like it was a huge support as well, and we were able to branch out and talk. I mean, befriend other families, and we met Mick and everyone else.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a journey, but
that's awesome. Because I personally moved here 6 years ago, and I moved on my own. So like I can tell you there's a world of difference between you know what I mean? But like for you, what was that transition like? Why did you guys decide to come to Canada?
So yeah, my dad and mom, well, mostly my dad, like it was his decision to to try to move the family to, just a better place.
Okay.
And so he applied to Australia and Canada. My mom's side of the family is, there's a bunch of them in Australia. And for my dad, he had cousins here. And Canada just went, Australia first said, no, not at this time. Try again in a couple of years or something. And Canada said, let's go for your medical, guys. Let's go. And then we're like, all right.
Nice. And you moved to Greater Vancouver immediately, or did you move to a different province first?
We were in Vancouver. We were in BC. We moved to Richmond. Been there forever.
Oh, okay, so it was Richmond from day one.
Yes,
okay.
yeah.
Nice.
Because majority of our family friends are from Richmond, so it was just an easy support system, and we've never lost that. So it's pretty good. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
That's so. What was life like for you? And how old were you when you moved?
I just turned 20. I think that year. Yeah.
Okay, I moved when I was 19, so similar age.
Yeah. It's like it's the coming of age journey, and then you find yourself here. It's pretty interesting.
For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I hated it at first, dude.
I hated it at first too. Yeah. It was.
Do you have a big family? Or?
There's just 5 of us, so I have 3 siblings. Well, Ricky, from he's the drummer.
Yep.
He's the drummer of the band. He's been our drummer ever since the Philippines.
Oh, cool.
So we were in bands together for more than 15 years. It's me and him, we've been composing our stuff together. Even now, we compose together. He's really been the constant, and I'm glad, we're here together and we're in a band together. And then we have our younger sister. And mom and dad, we all
that's awesome.
came here together.
Yeah, I mean, and like Rob said, the band. So I watched you guys perform. I think it's been over a week now at the Taiwan festival that happened downtown Vancouver, and it was my first time watching rock. Like I told you, I don't really go to concerts like that.
Right.
So even as a concert goer, I don't really have that much experience, but much less with rock, you know what I mean? Because I don't really listen. But I was super impressed. Like, it was amazing. I know I told you that day. That was like, it was really great. And all the other bands that were there were really cool too. My friend was there as well, and like I said, he had a great time, and like we were really impressed. Yeah. It's always interesting to see like people do creative stuff around town. It's like, I feel like I'm now trying to get a bit more creative with the stuff I do, because I never really had that opportunity. Because like you said, the coming of age story, like I'm still going through things, and I'm still going through stuff, but for sure. So when did music begin for you?
Well, we pretty much came from a musical family. Okay. My parents, my mom was in a band, in and out of bands, with her brother. Her brother was a bassist, is still a bassist in Australia right now.
Oh wow!
And he's my godfather actually, and he taught me a bit more of my how to practice guitar and whatnot. So I got my first guitar when I was 13, and it was something like I saw an ad on TV for like the local luthier who makes all the guitars, and I said, you know what, I can pick a guitar up, and because we already knew we could all sing, so it's like all right, nice. We could sing. Let's see if we can play an instrument, and there was the guitar. I asked for it for my birthday. They actually got it for me for graduation. It might have been for graduation then, actually, remembering back. But and then I just started practicing and stuff. So really taking things seriously, looking for fellow, like bandmates and all of that. It didn't really start until high school. So first year high school, when we were 13, 14, my brother, the next year he got a guitar as well, because we started learning together. He's more classically trained with on guitar. I was
Which
more
means
so on acoustic guitar, so you can get like a steel string guitar or a nylon string guitar. The nylon string guitars, they're commonly known as Spanish guitars as well. And he learned that more, so it's like a lot of finger plucking, more flamenco style or classic style plucking. I went straight to rock. I went Santana, like all of that stuff. Van Halen.
Yeah. What did you grow up listening to?
I actually, I grew up listening to punk and metal.
Okay.
So that's, I mean, actually, that it fits well with what we do right now. But I went really, it was either really, really punky or like really, like super nonsensical, but like really fun, like Blink-182, their earlier stuff and all of that.
Yeah.
And then I moved to Korn. That was like the new metal age. And then I went deeper. I dug deeper. I went through like an Icelandic metal phase. That was just a month, but like still,
it's part of it. Yeah.
And but then and then we'd go for karaoke and all of that. And my grounding is always the songs that I love singing. It's always like Bon Jovi, the hair metal queen, so that to get everyone to their feet.
Like because I'm not very well versed with the bands and stuff. Is that like? Because from what I got from your performance was like in my head, I call it mountaintop music.
Yes.
Like wind blowing.
You know what's funny?
Yeah.
We have a song named Mountaintop.
Okay.
Yeah. I just got goosebumps right now.
Okay, awesome. Nice.
That's, when I compose, I always like taking people on a journey, I would say. I like painting a picture. Back in the Philippines, I played with the idea of composing specifically for a color and asking people after we perform, like, what for this song, what color did you feel? People didn't really understand where I was coming from, what are you doing?
Okay.
Yeah. But that's the stuff that I like doing. I wanted, I'm a composer, I'm a performer, but at the same time I'm a storyteller. And these stories, like all of our songs, they're either anchored in real situations or I fit them all into specific story. So each album in my head is a specific world, is a specific story. And then when we're now, let's say, we're composing now with our new bassist, aka our very first bassist coming back. So the three of us now, when we compose, in my head, whatever we're composing is now part of a new story. So let's say there's the, so our main song, Towers, Alonzi, and Satellites, those big three songs.
Which are all on Spotify.
Yes, they are all on Spotify.
Yeah, I checked them out not too long ago.
And so those three songs are part of one world. It's like a dystopian future type of deal, drawing inspiration from, everywhere. Dystopian, cyberpunk, that's that world.
Yeah.
And then this new world that we're building, I dubbed it the New Horizons songs. So we have like more uplifting but still heavy stuff like Mountaintop. Mountaintop's an old song, but we're bringing it back for this world. And yeah, it's just, just finding or grounding everything in stories. Making sure that people get those stories as well.
Yeah, so. It's interesting. I find like it's weird how every creative person I've spoken to, or at least most, always have a similar way of like describing what it is they're trying to do, and it's always like grounded in storytelling. I found like, because even when you ask me to describe this podcast, I'll be like, it's people's stories, everyone's story matters, it's like there's a beginning to an end, which is like why I'm asking you about the Philippines and your life and stuff, which leads me to my next question, which is like, you described what you described really well, but I'm assuming as a kid that's not really what you knew you were doing.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean?
For sure.
What were like the milestones in your life as a like upcoming musician as a kid? What were those few moments where you felt like you fell even deeper into music? And
I would say it's really funny. There's that Truman effect, like the movie, the Truman Show, where you think, I guess it's all of us as kids, even the kids now, the world revolves around you, and all of a sudden, all these songs are speaking to you. All these songs, all the games I was playing, all the, just everything. Everything just all of a sudden spoke to me. Like, let's say, the angstiness of emo punk. And when, like, let's say for Blink-182, like when I turned 23, I mean, I already knew the song, What's My Age Again, with the lyric, nobody likes you when you're 23. But like, like earlier, I first saw myself, being that, like, oh, like, yeah, right now I'm feeling pretty angsty. I feel like I can push further, be a bit rebellious, and all of a sudden, all this music I got into
spoke to you.
Spoke to me, pushed me that direction. That's when I got into like nu metal, Limp Bizkit, Korn, all of that darker, darker stuff. Discovering things that I loved or wanted to listen to. Like right now, for some reason, I'm into chill hop. So like it's more just stuff I can walk to, or like even drum and bass for running as well. So So I have a huge spectrum of genres that I listen to. The output from me, though, is always going to be rock because ever since the Philippines, there's something beautiful about aggression, not for the sake of being aggressive. It's like it's pretty funny, like as you said with our music, like it's like you're on the mountaintops, you're screaming. And like that's what I actually we want to convey.
I mean it was so clear because like from I believe it was it the first, it was the last song maybe?
Last song was Alonzi, with the harmonies ending.
So like the chanting and stuff, that's what took me there. That was like, it was very like evident, and that was the moment me and my friend were like, yo, like, oh shit, like I can't believe we're at a rock concert and enjoying it. This is weird.
But
that's
like, awesome.
That message was loud and clear for sure. I can tell you that. But yeah, so like, and your parents have always been supportive in terms of like music, because like you said, it's a family thing, right?
They've always, for music at least, as a creative output, they never held back. Like whatever training we needed, like my dad got us our lessons, Ricky his classical stuff, me my lead stuff, my rock stuff, and then like I guess there's also a joy now in him, in our parents, or our friends as well, like seeing us together enjoying it all together. And it's that like we wouldn't keep going if it wasn't for the support of our family and friends. Because at the end of the day, that's all you really have. But I'm just really glad that I have Ricky as well, because like we're each other's feedback. We're whatever we create together or for each other. So if no one else, like when I compose something on my own, I always send it off to him. I need his approval first before I actually finish up a song, because like if it doesn't speak to him, then it's not going to speak to anyone else as a band or in the band as well. So it doesn't make sense to pursue things.
And Ricky is your younger brother,
yes.
right? What's the age gap between you two?
So just 3 years.
3 years, okay. Yeah. That's cool.
But we've been really, like it was his birthday just yesterday, and it's my birthday tomorrow.
Oh, nice.
So we're sandwiched in between recording this right now.
Cool. Happy early birthday.
Oh, thank you.
Nice.
But like as I said, so I posted something on Facebook, just a picture of him and I at a gig in the Philippines, actually, like right after the gig.
Oh, was it the childhood photo?
Yes.
I just saw that on Facebook.
So I posted that, and then my words for him was to the guy who's been my partner in crime since I was 3.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So, I mean, I'm fortunate enough. We're fortunate enough to have each other and the support of our parents for what we want to pursue. Musically, they never said don't do or don't listen to this. They, like, it's so funny. I think it might have been my mom or my dad who first bought me who bought me my very first Limp Bizkit. CD.
Oh wow! Really?
And that was huge, yeah. And then they got me a Green Day album, and then they got me Smash Mouth, because you gotta have Smash Mouth, just for the uplifting.
Okay. What is Smash Mouth? Who are they?
It's so they sang the Shrek song. What did they use? I'm a believer, and I saw her face.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
So they sang that version of that song. And then they have a few other like All-Star. They have a lot of other songs, and it's just fun to listen to.
Yeah, okay.
It's not heavy rock. It's not punk. It's not anything like that. Mm-hmm. But the album that they got for me, I forgot the name of it's like they're on a space station and stuff. But like even just the album cover and the booklet spoke to me. And when you listen to their music, you feel like you're in space. The very first song called Who's There, I still remember the name of the first song. It's because they have like a spacey tune behind everything, and it's just, you're there. Up there with them, it's amazing. And I guess I'm just realizing now how big an influence that actually was for me. I'm just realizing it, but yeah,
that's awesome, man. So like, and in school, was school ever like what were you like in school?
Well, we were actually, so that's where our parents were more, they wanted us to excel in school.
Like they were strict, or?
They were strict to a point.
Okay.
Just don't have that numerically, like it's really different in the Philippines. I would say like anything under 75.
Okay.
If you're straggling at a line of 7, like if you have like a 77, 78, there's something wrong, man. We gotta get you. We gotta get you a tutor or something. Yeah. Okay. But so like we were good students. 80s, 90s, like out of 100. That grading scale.
Cool. The reason I ask is just because like for me, when I hear like a lot of people, not when I hear a lot of people, I'm coming from like a background where in Kenya creativity is like, oh no, you're just trying to be lazy. You know what I mean?
Oh.
So when people have hobbies and stuff like maybe rock music or podcasting or whatever, it's usually seen as, okay, that's cute, but let's like focus on this other stuff, which I think is like a lot of parents. But in Africa, I think in general, but also specifically in Kenya, it's like a very like, okay, art is for lazy people and business is for serious people, kind of a thing, It was pretty similar, actually. Like, I mean, our parents never stopped us. Again, like they never stopped us. My mom's side of the family never stopped us. But I guess like for my dad's side, they, like at least, a select few of them, that's how it felt. It felt like, oh, that's cute. Exactly. You put it perfectly. Oh, that's cute. Yeah. Or like even in, when we started taking it seriously in the Philippines before we moved here, so my brother had just gone and accepted into one of the better schools. The school I was in, actually. Oh, okay. Sorry, Dad. We were in rival schools. Like, it's so funny. Our dad went to a rival school. Okay. But so I was actually in pre-med. So I was going to be a doctor in the Philippines. All my other friends are now doctors in the Philippines. But, moving here gave us a new start, and we were able to hone in on what we really wanted to do, or if we wanted to be creative. And I guess that's the thing about moving, moving out of that. You got the freedom to kind of express it, because I agree. I also have friends who kind of like, I know if they had the chance to leave Kenya, like they would explore more of that side of themselves. Right. And like out of everyone, like me doing it is kind of like him. At least this is how I think of it. It's kind of like, because some people have told me they expected it, me to be more creative, but like I didn't think I seemed like that person. So when I think of myself, it's like, if I'm doing it, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of other people I could think about who just need that little like exposure to like leave what they know right now and be able to kind of like be more creative and do whatever it is they want to do. But yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, and so in terms of how serious did your music get in the Philippines? What was it? Like, what level did it reach for you guys?
Well, it was way less than where we're at right now. I'll tell you that. Like, in the Philippines, the band scenes were more. It was like band competitions, and then like each set would be just 15, 20 minutes. So that's just 3-4 songs a set. And then you get judged, or like you know, they just put on a show of 10 bands. Back in the day, it was very saturated. Like there were a lot of bands, and only the better ones stood out. We didn't have the current sound we have now back then. I wish we did, because you know, we could have done more.
You'd have killed everything.
Yeah, but yeah, it just didn't happen for us there. We started recording an EP. Like just an extended play record for ourselves, because we were leaving already. We knew we were leaving, so it was me, my brother, and 2 other guys. Like we were the band. Our band name was the Grail Arbor.
Okay. Which means
it's this. So we're really into a band called Coheed and Cambria.
Okay.
We just watched them last week. Actually, last week they were here. And so the Grail Arbor is a ship in the series of books. Like Coheed and Cambria has like this elaborate story as well, like Star Wars. Like it's a very like expansive world.
Okay.
The Grail Arbor was one of their ships, and we just took on that name. But it was memorable to us because no one else knew.
Didn't get the reference.
No one gets no one got the reference. And yeah, pretty much that was it. That was our thing back in the Philippines. We only
just competitions.
Yeah, just competitions. Nothing professional. Because we were kids too. Like we were just doing what we wanted to do.
For sure.
We weren't doing crowd pleasers or whatnot. I think we should have, because we could have. Like we could. But we just didn't want to please them. We were doing it for us. But, you know...
Which is the best way.
It is the best way. But if everyone else is doing it, you have to kind of stand out.
For sure.
And the bands that did stand out were doing crowd pleasers.
Of course.
So we molded that idea. We made it our own here. When we create our sets, we not only create music that we think other people will enjoy, but also we put in... like 1 or 2 like little, you know, like just catch the attention of people with like a nice cover or, you know, a rendition of something else, just so people remember us for that, if anything. But with our newer sound for the past 3-4 years, I think people, you know, have gravitated or have embraced the idea of vocal harmonies in heavy music. So, and that's when we found that. Just ran with it. Ran with that idea.
Aside from music, when you moved to Canada, what's just life in general? Like, what's that transition for you? Like, I'm just curious.
Well, when we moved to Canada, so I was in my 3rd year of university, and my brother hadn't gone to university yet. Our youngest sister, she was still in the middle of high school, and then we came here, and it was a struggle for me, at least personally, the first year, because, you know, as you mentioned, like we came here at an age where we were still finding ourselves back there, and now we have to find ourselves in a totally new environment. So it was really weird. We didn't do music for the first year. It wasn't until 08 or late 08 or 09 that we actually said, you know what, it's a waste. Like we have all of this stuff, this material. I know you can play drums. I know I can play guitar.
It's so interesting because I feel like that's when you talk about that togetherness, that's probably it's so priceless. Because like when I think about the people who I consider brothers, it's not really my blood brothers, but it's people I grew up in the school I went to with. And I do have a biological brother. He's older, but like the gap is 9 years, so we don't really have that.
It's almost like a generation worth.
We don't really have like a journey together as such. But when I think about my friends in school, the ones I grew up with, if I was to have them around during that time when I needed to snap out of it.
Mm-hmm.
It would have been so cool for someone to say, remember that thing you always used to do? Like,
Yeah.
how about you start doing that again? Because for the longest time, it's like I think I forgot I forgot everything because it's so also new and you're trying to like assimilate or get used to life.
Right.
And you become like so caught up in that pursuit that you forget everything about what you used to do. So like, I'm saying it's cool because like I wish I had that at that time myself as well. That's pretty cool.
Right. Yeah. Like again, like I realized that I'm always thankful for that because I was fortunate. Every friend I've made, even meeting my wife like here in Canada of all places, I didn't see myself. I didn't wake up one morning back in the Philippines saying, you know what, it would be cool to live somewhere else.
Yeah. Start a whole new life.
Yeah. I remember I used to like wake up and be excited to, let's say, like, turn 18 so that I can actually legally drink, stuff. And then it actually happens. And like, I'm like, okay, I'm here.
Yeah.
But then, hey, I'm here in Canada, like all of a sudden at 20.
What were the hardest things? What were some of the struggles you like had to go through before that year when you felt okay to be yourself and do things you enjoyed?
I think I was still trying to hold on to the life there in the Philippines. And it was something clicked in my head the year after.
Do you mind me asking what ways you were holding on? Like what do you mean by holding on? What are some
just
of
like
those?
I would still wake up early in the morning, really early in the morning, so that I could chat with friends at night there, and that connection. But then, like, I was lucky enough to find a job immediately. Like the first month, I found a job. Okay. So, well, I mean, it was just at Toys R Us. It's not. Like, it's not a.
No, that helps because I couldn't even get a job at Timmy's when I first came. So I was like, yo, what the hell is going on? So hey.
Yeah, well, I got that job through like a family friend. So like really. Again, it's friends.
That's support sister.
True, dude.
No, that's support sister. I'm telling you, like I always knew about that theoretically. Like, family is important because support. It's like, I get it. Yeah. But like when I moved here and realized, like, no, really, like your family helps you move forward in life. Yeah. And it's like, it's interesting when you have to transition to giving yourself that push because it's not always easy.
Yeah,
but
totally.
that's pretty cool that you had that though.
Yeah. So so I got a job changing. Like I had to change my habits. Like I couldn't hold on longer. I was almost like going crazy doing that, like staying up late.
I feel like every immigrant can relate to that. Like planning Skype, whole list of Skype sessions.
Oh man!
And planning your day around a Skype session, and then sometimes it doesn't happen. It's like I just wasted 6 hours trying to get to this Skype session that didn't happen. Yeah. And it's like all these things. For sure.
Yeah, it wasn't until the year after. So I saved up from that job, like 5-6 months worth of, I was living with my parents, so like it was perfect for me to save that up to buy a ticket back to the Philippines. I was there for a month in August, I think, or something of 2008, and that trip actually was when I realized I missed Canada, I missed my family, I missed being here, and I knew that that click all of a sudden in my head where I knew that if I wanted to live here, if I wanted to truly make this home, because it did feel like home when I was back in the Philippines, I felt like Canada is my home. And for that to happen, I needed to let go of the life that I'm not going to have anymore because I'm not there. And when I made that conscious decision to live here, that's when all of a sudden the music came out. It was beautiful, actually. My brother and I, we started talking to Timmy, our cousin. Well, he goes by John. If people are confused, Chelsea still is John, Robby, Ricky. John, if you're listening, I love you. But we started talking to him, and because he played bass, perfect. bass, drum, guitar. We all sing.
We have a band.
We're a band.
Yeah.
And like everything else, all my hobbies, all the friends that I got here in Canada, it all just clicked when I made that conscious decision to live here.
Yeah, that's both profound and interesting, because it sounds very similar to something my friend has said before, and I think it was on an interview I did for this podcast too, because we were talking about just like that, I think, identity and stuff, and just that feeling of like, just like you said, feeling as though when you're home, aka in your home country, it feels like you're a stranger there. But then it's like, if you feel like a stranger there and you've not fully accepted that you live in Canada,
right,
like you need to make that decision before anything can happen. And that's why, like you said, I mean, I think that's, for my friend, for example, for him taking so long to finish school and stuff like that, I think part of the holding on is part of that has been because of the holding on.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And he's gone through different struggles in his own way. And I think it always comes down, not always, but with that kind of a struggle, it comes down to making that decision. Yeah.
Like talking about school, like it took me 8 years to finish university, counting the 3 years in the Philippines. Well, 2.5 really, I think. And I took a year off my first year when we got here, just, to make sure that I got accepted, and, started in September, like when all the school here actually started, not like midway, I jumped in, it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
But, it took me 8 years collectively to actually get a degree that I not quite use right now.
What did you study?
So I finished it in psychology in SFU, and I don't regret picking that, because I grew so much, if not in the topics that I studied, it's the work ethic that I put into those topics. And I mean, when push comes to shove, it's almost rare now for our generation to actually land in something that you did study.
Yeah.
Unless you're doing unless from start to finish you were in pre-med. Yeah, exactly. You were medicine. My Ricky was studying, he was good in sciences and math. All of a sudden, he's teaching it. It's right.
There's a clearer path when you're doing such careers.
Yeah.
Well, you said you were also doing med in Philippines.
In the Philippines.
For how long? For 2 years?
two and a half years. I was in, or actually was it 3 years? I'm not sure anymore. But I was in the health sciences. Health sciences there as opposed to here. So here, health sciences is more community. You're almost looking at what needs to change in the health system, or what needs to change in the government to provide support to the health systems and stuff. I think that's more of where they're going here. Back in the Philippines, health sciences was they were training medical, they were training doctors to be actual administrators, hospital administrators. Okay. So that's what the program I was a part of. And then I just wanted a more straightforward path, because, again, I wanted to be creative, but people telling me, oh, this is where you're going. I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm just going to go into biology. So I shifted to biology. And there I kind of got more time freedom, because I knew I was doing just bio, maybe the odd chemistry course here and there.
Yeah.
But when we moved here, I didn't want to repeat the struggles that I had in the Philippines. We were getting into the nitty-gritty courses. So when that freedom came to choose whatever I wanted from scratch here, sure, I got 2 years off, or credits worth or no, it was 4 semesters altogether, 4 terms altogether that got credited here. So, but then I still wanted to take my time, and I didn't it was always just a pride thing for me. A lot of people in high school didn't think I was going to be or I could be a doctor.
Oh yeah.
So I went like, guys,
Yeah.
I got like the score to like the entrance score to go into this program, so I'll do this.
Yeah.
And then, it became a sense of pride for me and my family that I was in med.
You buy into the story.
Yeah, exactly. You buy into the story, exactly.
Yep.
But then, but it was perfect. So moved from there, from that environment here, I can be whatever I wanted. At that point, I only knew science. I only knew science. I didn't want to repeat any maths anymore. And SFU said, well, we'll take you. You don't need to take calculus. UBC said, you'll take calculus. So I'm like, no, I'm going this way.
Yeah.
And so SFU psychology was like the easy thing because like, well, I'm not going into the sciences. I can just do psychology. I did more like neuropsych stuff, so like concussion studies and stuff like that interested me. But then, I don't regret the switch out of medicine. Yeah. Even now, like the journey that I've had. So I worked at a hospital in research for 5 years. Okay. And then I became an insurance agent.
Wow, explain that.
That job, right? Like it was more, I had that job in research for so long. There was no upward mobility anymore. And then I got married, we moved out. I needed more. Just more, or I needed a change, because like my stint as an insurance advisor, like I wasn't as much of a seller, an external seller as I thought I was. I needed to, this skill, the talking skill, the personability, and all of that. I didn't realize that sometimes I have to turn myself off. Like I need to just be at home, not think of anything else. Yeah. I picked up cooking as a hobby as well. Yeah. And like, so I was juggling
You're
so
all
much.
over the place.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And, I needed a job, a steady, stable job that could allow me to be myself everywhere else. Okay. And then, so that's where I'm at right now. So without divulging into like what I do or what company I work for, I use my, my know-how from being an agent. I'm using that internally to help the company or, be my best self with that knowledge there. So I'm pretty happy there right now because I have the freedom to do everything else on the side.
For sure.
And that's when, like you caught us 2 weeks ago at Taiwan Fest. Again, Chelsea's Tale. Yeah.
Chelsea's Tale. Shout out Chelsea's Tale.
And again, this is Robby Mamonluk, and you can find me on Chelsea's Tale as well. But
what's your last name?
Mamonluk. So it's a huge.
Slower, please.
Yes, Mamonluk.
Okay.
Yeah. For people to remember, like the last name, in the Philippines, they would go like, you just go, Ma, Moon, look, and then just point at the sky. Yeah.
What is the future for your music? What do you see yourself doing with music from this point forward?
I would say that we're just taking it as it comes. Right now, we had a 1 or 2 year hiatus. So the bands that we play with now, we don't know a lot of the bands now in the scene right now in Vancouver. We used to have a good core of, there were 5 bands that would just rotate and play gigs with each other. So
is that's important in in rock band community? Like that's like, could you explain
the brotherhood as well? There's brotherhood there as well. There's comfort in going downtown to a venue, knowing that you're going to be playing with friends. You have friends there to to banter with backstage already. I would like to say we're getting that again. We're kind of getting back into it, but it's been a slower process because again we're needing to reintroduce ourselves into the scene as Chelsea's Tale, even if we've been around for 8 years, I think now, and counting. So and that there's just that brotherhood that I really miss right now. But we do what we can at the moment.
What will it take for you to have that here right now?
Just more gigs.
Okay.
We just need to play more local gigs and, get to know the scene again. Reintroduce our brand of music to Vancouver.
That's awesome.
Because at the end of the day, it's just exposure, and
It's interesting to be a part of, at least a small part of that journey, because it sounds very similar to where myself and this podcast are right now, with just everything I'm doing in my life right now. It's just like I had to make tough decisions a few months ago too, and like now starting kind of afresh again, now with a whole new set of things to do with my life. So it's kind of like, it's interesting to have met you and a few other people through this podcast, like who are going through that journey, because I didn't know there was this many people going through it. I thought this was like, I didn't think this was something people gave any time to. I thought it's like, just like I was saying, it's cute, I have a hobby, it's cool, that's all I do.
No, but like at the end of the day, like this is all just about, purpose, but purpose for ourselves. It's not purpose for anyone else. And it's not about leaving my mark in the world when I'm not here anymore. It's more for me to have felt like I did something for myself and that I am worth. Because, like you can't, like other people can tell you your worth, but it's you believing in your own worth.
Yeah. What do you tell yourself when you go to bed at
exactly.
night, or when you look in the mirror or something?
That idea that, it's always an intrinsic, it's always internal, the journey. Because you could go forward, you could be what, you could do what you love doing, you could be whatever you want to be. But if at the end of the day you're just going through the motions and you're not, it's almost like you're not alive anymore. What is it to be alive? You feel alive.
And just that conversation, have you always been this in touch with yourself, like your inner self? And because I can tell you're someone who really thinks about yourself, not in a narcissistic way, but like that inner self that is running the show,
I would say I always have been, because I needed to be. I have a lot of family and friends, and we talk sometimes about these things, but at the end of the day, I need to internalize my own thoughts and decisions. I need to own up to those thoughts and decisions and use that to better myself and everything that I'm producing externally. So just knowing that everything, including this conversation, let's say, like every choice that I make, everything that we do, it's all just me. Not in a narcissistic, not in a selfish way, but like I want to affect others as well. But how am I going to affect others in a positive way if I'm negative?
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's just,
and it feels so bad when you try to. Because like when I was at my worst, it's kind of like, and I tried to be this super positive person, it just feels so like,
it's fake.
Yeah.
You can't fake the fake it till you make it. It, to an extent, it works, but not internally,
it's hard,
not
man.
to yourself.
I'm too sensitive. I'm way too sensitive to fake it till I make it, because I think I would be the first one to crumble the facade. I feel like I would be my own demise if I tried so hard, because like I can't be dishonest to that degree and feel okay with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just
again, it's like, it's an internal thing. You, if you don't feel good, well, it's that, it's the idea of like living with yourself. I would say, I don't know, like, I think too, like before this podcast or before we started our conversation, I don't think I've had this good a conversation about internal values and all of that in a while. I would say like Mick. Shout out to Mick. Mick and I have had really good conversations in the past few years.
Mick is definitely one of those conversations with Mick at the office was one of the reasons I quit the job.
Oh, yeah.
So like, that's how powerful those conversations can be. So I get it, because I mean, like, we would be talking all day about similar stuff, similar ideas, and like, I guess me and him have grown up separately, just kind of like being in touch with that. And when we met, it was kind of like, oh wait, you think about this stuff too? What the hell?
You know what? I just flashback to his birthday last year. We've met before.
Yeah.
We've met
shit.
before.
You didn't realize this whole time?
This whole time. I was like,
That's
wait.
hilarious.
But you look familiar. You look familiar. I felt like I knew you already.
Yeah.
Like for Taiwan Fest, I knew your face already. It just clicked.
You know what? It clicked for me on Taiwan Fest. When we were messaging on Facebook the whole time, I didn't know until I met you. I was like, oh shit, I have
we've
seen
met
this guy.
before.
I think I told my friend, but I didn't tell you. I told my friend I met him
I
at
just
my
realized right now.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
when I mentioned the job, right? Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that clicked. I was like, hello.
It's me again.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
no, for sure. I appreciate that, and that is what I want this podcast to do. Now, I don't know what that is. I don't know what good that does for anyone, but hopefully I do more of that with people, because it also helps me, because like when I have these conversations with other people, and it kind of lights up in my head, like, oh yeah, this stuff makes sense. Like, you're not the only one thinking all these things. They make sense, you know? And that's really cool.
I see, this podcast, it's really, even in the conversation, it's an eye-opening journey. It's diving into yourself to give you the answers, right? But at the same time, like, we're giving answers to things that we don't know affects other people as well. It's amazing that we're all connected that way, even if it's different cultures, different, upbringings.
Yeah, for sure.
It's all the same. If it all boils down to it, like the core is always the same. There's always our likes, our dislikes, our struggles, all of that. That's what makes us, and like that's
100%
connects us all.
And so, like right now with your life in Vancouver, you said you're married. How many years have you been married for?
So we're hitting our 2nd year anniversary in November.
Okay,
so
cool.
We've been living together now for 4 years, 3.5. 3.5.
And how does like marriage factor into all of this? Like,
that's it's a whole different beast. No, the short story is that just to keep things short, but it's that extra drive, like wanting to do more, be more for my wife.
Someone else. Yeah.
Yes, I mean, it's not. Yeah, it's just really different. As everyone can surmise, like I'm really close with Ricky, and us as brothers. Well, me and my family as well, we're really close. But yeah, me and my wife, Laura. Hello, if you're listening.
We remembered to say your name.
But like, just having that partner there, that trust there. I don't need to be on all the time, like on the lookout for things all the time, because I have a life partner who is watching. Like if I'm watching this side, the 12, she's watching my 6, that type of thing. And it's more a partnership. I didn't realize how strong a partnership could be, and what that means. And that means, we can be together and be individuals at the same time. I think that's a healthy relationship right there. When you realize you're two different people, but you can be, you are a team. That's the big change right there, I would say. Or that's the big thing that factors into every decision I make. Yeah. It's that I'm doing it not just for myself, but for other people as well. I think the band, music, just everything creative that I do has readied me to be a husband.
It's all the same, right? Like, because it all comes from the same place.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I mean, the same place that told me like to quit my job is probably the same place that'll tell me which girl I like. It's probably the same place that'll tell me, like, of course I won't make those decisions the same way, but it's kind of like, again, like you said, that internal thing is the one that has to sift through all this stuff.
Yes.
It's the only thing we have, So it's like, if that's if that guiding thing that's guiding your music, your friendships, your family, and all that stuff, if that's not right, how is it gonna make the decision for your life partner, like you said? I think that's really important.
It all just like all the struggles, all the experience, it just builds up to the moment that you need to decide something so drastic. But it feels you can make a decision in a split second because it feels familiar, because you've been there before, or like it just fuels you and it makes you, because at the end of the day, whatever you choose, that's your life showing you that this is the decision that you're going to be making. So
that's amazing. I mean, I am nowhere near marriage personally, but like, I don't know, I felt the need to ask this question for some reason.
Go ahead.
If anyone out there is about to get married, thinking about getting married, like, what would do you have any advice or like any?
Well, number one, make sure you're prepared. Make sure that you're going at it with the right for the right reasons.
E.g.,
for like love is a factor. We love each other very much, but love can't be the only thing. You need to know that it's a good partnership. For us, it just clicked. It was amazing. We actually, fun fact, we met at a gig.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
Were you performing?
Yes.
Oh, nice.
So she's friends with John, our bassist now.
Okay.
Back before he quit originally. That last or second to the last gig he had, I met Laura.
Oh, cool.
And then we hit it off, and here we are. And it's. So again, it's for her. It's that love for music that connected us.
Yeah.
It's being easy to talk to. Both of us being on the same page. You need to always be on the same page. And then of course the love and all that cheesy stuff.
Definitely.
But I would say, don't just don't take things for granted. You gotta bank on the partnership. You need to know that you're going to just like hold each other.
Like if all else fails, at least we have this one thing.
Yes, exactly. Like just finding that. It's not even that, actually. That sounded bad, guys. But like, nothing's gonna fail. No. Just knowing that whatever I do, again, it's finding myself individually. If you're not individuals first, and you come into it, you're gonna find each other and be a crutch for each other. Don't be a crutch for each other. You have to find yourselves first, and then find who you are as a couple. Because it's hard to go the other way. But hey, if you go the other way, you're together first, and then you find yourselves as individuals.
High school sweethearts.
Yes, exactly. Those are the people that it works.
There's few of those. Let's
Nowadays,
be honest. Let's just be clear. It's just how rare that is. But when it does happen, like the long-term relationships that work are because people have found the balance of being together and being individuals and understanding each other's needs. For some reason, I feel as though marriage has been made to seem like wanting to be that individual before you get married is a bad thing. Have you felt that sense in terms of what people think of marriage? I
think that I think it really depends on the age that people are when they find each other. Because the older you are, the more you already are an individual automatically.
True. You're further along the journey.
I think you're right in the sense that currently the current waters right now is that the drive is to find yourself individually first. Was that what you were?
I guess my question was. Yes, currently I think the idea that people need to be individuals first before getting married is like I do think that's something that's
It's
being
more promoted.
accepted. Yeah,
Yeah.
being accepted more.
Yeah.
But in my mind, I feel as though for the longest, it hasn't. Because I always thought of marriage as like, get married as soon as possible, we'll work it out later. Like, you know what I mean?
That's it. It depends, I guess, on the why. The why.
It always goes down to the why.
Because like we're not planning to have kids. Shocker for a lot of people.
You're not the first person to tell me this in my life, though, so I'm not surprised. Tell me why, though.
It's just not like we're not interested. I can't speak for her, but like for me, like I'm not ready right now. I don't see myself be ready, but we will. Like, I have no problems with kids. Like, I will be the babysitter.
I have friends who are kids.
Yeah, I have friends who are kids. Like, it's all, you know.
I have nothing against kids.
But, you know, like, I have nothing against kids. It's, for me, it's a personal choice. I can't really, when people ask me, like, why? I don't know what her ideas are intrinsically, or I do, but like, because we talk about it, but like for me, like, you know, like really, do we know why? We just see eye to eye.
At least you guys are like, you've kind of locked in on the fact that it's in limbo. Because I feel like a lot of people are even scared to have the conversation that puts them in that place.
We had like all the finance conversation like that, you know, that couples should be having if you're serious,
especially in freaking Greater Vancouver.
Yeah. Totally. You need to be on board with each other's personal preferences, all of your, you know, what your convictions, all of that. If it all clicks, well, that's what happened with us. It's that, you know, it's just we're individuals, but our individuality actually complements each other. Yeah. And we're whole together as well as apart.
Yeah. No, I think like the fact that the whole kid conversation is interesting because it's like it feels taboo to say, and I could tell like you were feeling.
Oh yeah, even me. Like I tightened up
because
all of a sudden.
I would feel the same way saying something like that too. I don't feel that way. I do want kids myself eventually, but like, I understand why you'd feel that way, but it's unfair that you have to feel that way because it's like.
Thank you. Yeah. It kind of does, especially from a Filipino Chinese background. You know, like it's people. It's expected, but if I. Right, like it's my life.
Yeah.
Why?
And plus, you're not taking care of the kid.
Yes.
I am.
Yes. Exactly.
So,
I mean, I'm 100% like the good uncle, like to my nieces right now. Like, you know, like we take care of them, and you know, there's that love as well. But just for like our preference is. Yeah, we actually have 2 cats. If that's that's our answer for people like, oh, you have kids? Are you planning? We have 2 cats, and they're a handful. I love them to bits. So follow Domson Figaro or Domson Figs on Instagram, and you'll see our cats.
That's funny. I think there's so many things, right? Like I think today, just in general, so many conversations are being re-looked at. I think that's one that I've noticed that's coming up again, where it's like people who have seen are dating today. You're married, but like some of the people I've spoken to who are dating, and it's like there's that sentiment of like, do we really want kids? And if we do get kids, I mean, we have a limit because, you know what I mean? Because and I think it goes back to that individual idea, not to sound like someone who's all about themselves, but it's like. The fact that you're able to be yourself and then you're able to be yourself with someone else, that's already so much, you know?
Yeah.
It's already like 2 people being able to live a life together is freaking... I don't know how... Like, I've had moments when I've spent, like, a weekend at a girlfriend's house, and it's like, yo, I need to get back to my place right now because I'm being insane. So it's like the fact that people can reach that place already is a lot to be celebrated. So for me, I see it as like, yeah, sure, kids, continuity, but there's so many kids already right now on Earth, you know. So.
I would much rather, like, if they said you had no choice, you have to have a kid, I'm like, I want to adopt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would much rather just better someone else's life than create a whole new different life or life form. And what if, you know, something happens to the world? I don't go political, so anyway, people know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
If something happens, oh no, me and my wife, my family, her family, oh no, another, you know, grab the cats, quick, like.
Dude, it's dude. I'm not married and I live alone, so like. That whole idea is already so crazy. Just
sometimes
like,
it's exactly.
Yeah,
like
so
it's
tough.
And then well, for me, I blinked and I'm here now. But like, you know, again, I'm fortunate enough to be surrounded by, well, to be with Laura, to be surrounded by family and friends, and you know, and that grounding or that being my rock. I'm able to do everything else. Yeah. And, you know, again, I'm not a selfish guy enough that if I didn't feel stable, would I continue writing music? That's why I compose in bouts at a time. It's in the moment. It's in the season. Our 2-year hiatus, I just wasn't feeling secure enough.
Financially?
Everything. Financially, you know, just friends. Yeah. I love you all.
but sometimes
Mick, you know, no, okay. but yeah, no, love you, Mick. It's yeah, I have to have that stability before I'm able to do creative stuff.
Of course.
And
you do have another person in your life that you literally have to think about every second of the day.
Yes. So. And it's amazing because it comes out, my happiness at home comes out in the music that I write. Even if, again, it's heavy stuff. But it's uplifting lyrics, it's uplifting harmonies, vocal harmonies. Like, it all just factors back in. So all of this, actually, that's so funny. It just came back full circle. Yeah, it's that I wouldn't be able to do all of this if it wasn't for Laura, if it wasn't for Ricky, if it wasn't for my dad being super supportive, not telling me I couldn't listen to Limp Bizkit. Like, it's like those, all of that factors in. And yeah, it's been an interesting journey, and
100%.
Yeah.
And so now with that whole journey so far, and now with you being here and in this space where you're expressing that freedom and stuff, what would you tell the Rob who came here? Like,
that's a really good question. Yeah. I've thought about this like multiple times before. So surprising. Like, even without you asking me this, because but every time I ask myself that, I always give a different answer. But right now, I would say with where I am at in life right now, I would say, you know what, just do what makes you happy. Don't worry about the future. Take in the now, in the present. Does that? I'm just trying to like not be redundant, but like it's live in the now.
Live in the now.
Live in the now.
Appreciate the moment.
Yes.
All that stuff.
Be present.
Be present. Yeah.
Be present.
I like be present.
Yeah. Because next thing you know, you're somewhere else. You're someone else. But yeah, like again, like younger Robby, the guy who immigrated here, like not wanting to be here initially. You know, just I would say like, just trust in the decisions that you make, not only that you make, but that other people are seemingly making for you. I think that's a true thing for other, if not just immigrants, it's just kids, just other kids. Trust in the system, trust in your parents or your teachers, your friends, like trust in where they're bringing you. Well, granted, you know, it's all if it's all good, use your own judgment too. trust that.
I think that's just a testament to how healthy of a relationship you have with your family.
I would say, yeah, I was just very fortunate to be who I am in the situation that I'm at.
Mm-hmm.
I never take that for granted. Like, in my head, it always grounds me whenever I'm getting frustrated, whenever I get too excited about things, and just take a step back and see the journey that you've gone through. And I'm always thankful. I'm always thankful to all my friends and family, everyone, including you now.
Yeah, of course.
You're, just everyone making me have to be very self-aware.
Mm-hmm.
And, again, with that self-awareness, like, here I am now. And it's like, here I am now, and I'm grateful.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm always grateful for everything. I'm grateful to younger Robby for being the rebellious guy who didn't want to be here. Yeah. Because, Rob, in 7 months, something's going to click, and you're going to go, this is home now.
Yeah.
I'm going to make this my home.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah.
That's awesome, man. Any last words? I'll definitely give you a moment to shout out. I guess let's just do that right now. Shout out Chelsea Stale, all your socials, everywhere you can find your music, your personal Instagrams, your brother's Instagram, all that stuff.
Oh yeah. Where do I even start? Well, Chelsea Stale, so that's my band, Tail, Tail, and so you can find us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram now. We don't have pictures yet, but my brother's very good with his curating and stuff, so he does his own stuff as well. And what else did I forget? Spotify, Apple Music, Google Play, we're all up there as well. We have 3 of our songs, our best compositions thus far.
I can co-sign. It sounds just as amazing in live performance as it does on your headphones.
Yeah. I guess one thing I do want to say is we're just a 3-piece band. So if people are listening to that thinking a 3-piece band is able to do that, and we are, you've seen us live, we can do that type of music live. It's a huge thing. We've always just been a 3-piece band for the past 8 years, and well, there's my wife's cosplay. She does cosplay. Yeah, cool. It's LDub cosplay. Okay. That's on Instagram.
Cool.
ELLEDUB. Okay. LDub cosplay.
Nice. So when you say she does cosplay, she models or she makes costumes?
She models. She doesn't make the costumes from scratch, but she pieces them together from different sources, and she has friends who does her makeup, her hair, all of that stuff. So she's on social media as LDub cosplay, and other stuff. There's a big project I'm working on right now. For now it's tied into Chelsea Stale, but it's a solo secret project that only 3 people, including myself, know about. I don't want to, dive into specifics, but it ties into the whole idea of the worlds that the songs live in. So I'm working on that, and I don't know when it's gonna be out. It's probably gonna be out next year. I still have to, get my ducks in a row, make sure that everything is smooth for that. We do have a gig. I don't know when this podcast is going to come out, but
I don't know either.
I just have to say October 6th, if it hasn't past October 6th yet, that's in 3 or 4 weeks. We have a gig downtown Vancouver at Red Room. That's on Richards here in Vancouver. I think we're on at 7:30 or 8. It's an early set so that we can, play, mingle with friends, and then be home, be in bed by 10. Perfect. That's the life for me right now. I just want to sleep right now.
You want to be kind of a rock star.
Kind of a rock star. In and out precision. That's what we...
Nice. No, thanks so much for making the time for this, and sitting in this hot ass room.
It was my pleasure.
Yeah, no.
It's not as hot as I was expecting it to be, so it's not that bad.
I'm glad, because I hate being clustered like this in a room. But if you're fine, I'm good. But thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it was really interesting getting to know your full story. And like we discovered, we had met before at Mick's birthday, and like. I liked your energy, I guess, just in general. I just thought you were a nice guy.
Well.
Even just before that, so it's nice to have finally found like this substance behind you being a nice guy. Yeah, that's
thank
pretty
you
cool.
for that.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's just nice to sit down and make like I was gonna say make new friends, but I guess I count you now as a friend. So
No, I like it when this happens. Just this, like whatever this is, doesn't have to have a name, but I think it's so important for people to have, you know. And I don't think people have it enough, you know. Like today with the life we live, and I also think just like maybe the age I'm at or the city I live in, just the life here doesn't allow for a lot of this.
But like we need each other. I think that's what clicked with me and Mick immediately as well. Oh man, Mick's getting a lot of shout-outs today. But you know, it's because we're conversing. The conversation has no ulterior motive aside from getting to know each other.
Just to know,
And it's amazing if you take life that way. Like it's great. It's a great life.
Yep, for sure. I couldn't have said it any better myself. And again, I want to thank Rob for coming to the studio today, making time for this podcast. If you have enjoyed this conversation, I know I have, please do let us know through our social media. Follow us on Instagram at Represented Podcast. GeekHappyNetwork.com, you'll find all our stuff on there, and at Represented Podcast on Instagram. Thank you for joining us, and peace. This show is hosted and created by myself, Nyx, editing by Robert Mudhama and myself, intro music by Mick Narciso. If you'd like to be a guest on the Represented Podcast, feel free to hit up at Represented Podcast on Instagram or email us at representedpodcast@gmail.com. Thank you for listening, and for more Geek Happy Network shows like the Monster Slayer's Guide to Slaying Monsters or partner shows like the Jay and Tay Show and Book and Bitch, come give us a listen at geekhappynetwork.com or look for us on your favorite podcast app. And be sure to follow us on Facebook or Instagram at Geek Happy Network.